Welcome to Learn English Fast.
Speak English with confidence.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. This is your host, Henry, and today we're going to talk about something very special: how to make your brain think in English. Now, maybe you've asked yourself this question before. Why do I always think in my native language first? Or, how can I start thinking directly in English without translating? Well, my friend, you are not alone. Many English learners around the world face the same challenge. When you listen, read, or speak English, your brain might still go through your first language. That's why sometimes speaking feels slow, or you forget words easily. But here's the good news. Your brain can learn to think in English. Yes, it's possible. It just needs the right kind of practice and a few simple habits. In today's episode, we'll explore step by step how to train your brain to think in English naturally, just like native speakers do. You'll learn why thinking in English is so important, how your brain actually learns a language, what common mistakes to avoid, and some powerful daily habits to help you stay in English mode all day. So, if you're ready to make your brain more fluent, more confident, and more natural in English, stay with me until the end of this episode. Let's begin our journey to thinking in English. So, why is thinking in English so important? Why do teachers and fluent speakers always say, "You must think in English"? Well, let's imagine this. You want to say something simple like, "I want to go to the store." But before you speak, your brain thinks in your first language, translates each word into English, checks if it's correct, and then says it out loud. That process takes time, right? And sometimes, while you're translating, you forget a word or lose confidence. That's exactly why speaking can feel slow or stressful. You're not thinking in English yet. You're translating. Now, when you train your brain to think directly in English, something amazing happens. Your words start to come out faster. You don't have to stop and translate in your head. You begin to feel more natural, more confident, because your brain is already working in English. Think about how you speak your first language. You don't translate, right? You just speak. Your brain already connects words and ideas automatically. That's the same goal with English: to make your brain connect English words and ideas without needing your native language as a bridge. Also, thinking in English helps you understand English faster. When you read or listen, you don't waste time translating every word. You just understand the meaning directly. It feels smoother, and your brain becomes quicker. And here's another benefit. It builds confidence. When your thoughts are in English, you start to feel like English is a part of you. You don't feel like a learner anymore. You feel like a speaker. That's a big mindset change, and it makes all the difference. So remember this: if you want to speak faster, understand better, and feel more confident, you need to train your brain to think in English. Now, let's talk about how your brain actually learns a language. This part is really interesting, because when you understand how your brain works, you can learn smarter, not harder. Our brain is like a big computer. It stores information, makes connections, and remembers patterns. When you start learning English, your brain doesn't have strong English connections yet. It's like building a new road. At first, that road is small, weak, and not very clear. But the more you use it, the stronger and faster it becomes. When you hear or say a word again and again, your brain starts to remember it easily. This is called repetition. Repetition is how your brain builds new English roads. So, if you repeat useful English phrases, your brain will begin to use them automatically, without thinking too much. Another powerful thing is context. Your brain learns better when words are connected to real meaning, not just lists of vocabulary. For example, if you learn the word apple by seeing, touching, and eating an apple, your brain connects the English word with the real thing. That's why it's better to learn English through stories, conversations, and daily life. Because it gives your brain real situations to connect with the language. Also, your brain loves immersion. That means surrounding yourself with English. When you listen, read, and think in English every day, your brain begins to treat English like something normal. It's no longer a foreign language. It becomes part of your daily life. So, the more you hear, speak, and think in English, the faster your brain creates strong English pathways. And once those pathways are built, thinking in English becomes automatic. It's not magic, it's science. Your brain learns by repetition, connection, and experience. And the more you give your brain English input, the more it will naturally start to think in English. Before we learn how to train your brain to think in English, let's talk about some common problems that many learners face. Because, if you understand the problem, it's easier to find the solution. The first and biggest problem is translating every word in your head. Many learners think in their native language first, then try to find the English words for it. For example, if you want to say, "I'm tired," your brain might first say it in your native language and then translate it into English. This process is slow, and it makes speaking more difficult. You can't speak fluently when your brain is always translating. The second problem is forgetting words when you try to speak. You know the word, but when you need it, it disappears. This happens because your brain hasn't used that word enough times in real situations. It's like saving a file on your computer, but not opening it for months. You forget where it is. The third problem is fear of making mistakes. Many learners think too much about grammar or pronunciation. They want to say everything perfectly, so they stop speaking or overthink. This fear slows down your brain and makes thinking in English harder. Remember, mistakes are part of learning. They help your brain grow stronger. The fourth problem is a lack of English environment. Maybe you live in a country where people don't speak English often. You only use English in class or online. So your brain is surrounded by your native language all day, and it's hard to switch to English thinking mode. And finally, many learners say they just feel stuck or slow. They understand English when reading or listening, but when it's time to speak, their brain feels empty. This happens because passive knowledge, what you understand, and active thinking, what you can say, are different. To think in English, you need to practice using English actively, not just studying it. So, if you face any of these problems, don't worry. Every learner goes through them. And the good news is, you can fix them step by step. In the next part, we'll talk about how to train your brain. Simple daily actions you can start using right now to think in English naturally. All right, now let's get to the most exciting part: how to actually train your brain to think in English. You see, your brain is like a muscle. If you train it every day, it becomes stronger and faster. So here's a simple, step-by-step process you can follow to build your English thinking muscle. Step 1. Start with simple thoughts. Begin small. Don't try to think in big, complex sentences. Start with short, simple thoughts like, I'm hungry. It's a nice day. I need to go to work. Think these sentences in English during your daily life. When you wake up, say in your mind, I'm getting up now, or I'm brushing my teeth. These small English thoughts will slowly train your brain to use English naturally. Step 2. Use short internal sentences. You don't need long grammar-heavy sentences in your head. Just talk to yourself inside your mind. Short and simple. For example, where's my phone? I'm tired. It's time for lunch. This kind of internal dialogue is how children learn their first language, by thinking simple thoughts over and over. Step 3. Label your surroundings. Look around your room or your office and name the things in English. For example, this is a chair. That's a table. My phone is on the desk. Labeling helps your brain connect English words with real objects, not translations. Soon, when you see something, the English word will come to your mind automatically. Step 4. Use English in daily actions. Whenever you do something, try to describe it in English. If you're cooking, think, I'm cutting the vegetables. If you're walking, think, I'm going to the shop. If you're cleaning, think, I need to wash the dishes. This habit connects English with your real actions. It makes English part of your daily life. Step 5. Visualize words and ideas. Don't only think of translations, think in pictures. For example, when you think of the word apple, don't think of the word in your language. Imagine the fruit itself. See it, smell it, feel it. This trains your brain to connect English words directly with meaning, not translation. That's exactly how native speakers think, through images, not other languages. Step 6. Practice English self-talk. One of the best ways to think in English is to talk to yourself in English. You can do it quietly, or even out loud when you're alone. For example, talk about your plans. Today, I will meet my friend. I need to finish this project. Or describe what you're doing. I'm making tea. It smells great. Self-talk makes English part of your thinking and speaking process. And it's powerful. Step 7. Read and listen actively. Your brain needs good input to produce good output. So, listen to podcasts, watch English videos, and read simple articles or short stories. When you listen or read, focus on the meaning, not the translation. Repeat key phrases and use them later in your own thinking. For example, if you hear, "That makes sense," repeat it to yourself and use it later when you agree with something. Active listening and reading help your brain notice how English is used in real life. And slowly, your thoughts will begin to sound more natural. If you follow these steps every day, your brain will start to change. You'll notice that English words come to your mind faster. You'll feel more confident speaking and understanding English. And best of all, you'll start thinking in English automatically, without trying. Remember, this process takes time. Don't expect big results in 1 week. But with small, daily practice, your brain will adapt. And one day, you'll realize that you've stopped translating completely. Now that you know how to train your brain, let's talk about something even more important: daily habits. Because here's the truth. If you want your brain to think in English, you need to keep it in English mode every day. It's not about studying for hours, it's about small habits that keep your brain connected to English all the time. Let's go through a few simple but powerful habits you can start today. Habit 1. Morning English Mindset. When you wake up, start your day with English. You can think a few simple sentences like, "Good morning," "I feel great today," or "What do I need to do today?" This helps your brain switch into English mode early in the day. You can also listen to a short English podcast or song while brushing your teeth or getting ready. It sets the tone for the whole day. Habit 2. Keep a daily English journal or voice notes. Every day, write a few sentences about your day in English. It can be short. Today, I went to work. I was tired, but I learned something new. Or, if writing is hard, record a short voice note in English. Talking about your day in English helps your brain connect thoughts and emotions directly to English words. Habit 3. Listen to English. Every day, your brain learns language through sound and repetition. So, try to listen to something in English every day, even if it's just 10 minutes. Podcasts, YouTube videos, songs, or news. Anything you enjoy. When you listen often, English starts to feel natural to your brain. Even if you don't understand every word, your brain is still learning the rhythm and tone of the language. Habit 4. Change your digital world to English. Change your phone, computer, or social media language settings to English. This small change keeps your brain surrounded by English words and phrases. When you see settings, messages, or gallery every day, your brain begins to treat English as normal, not foreign. Habit 5. Watch English movies or videos with subtitles. Choose something you like: comedy, drama, or even cartoons. First, watch with English subtitles to help your understanding. Later, try watching without them. Pay attention to natural expressions, tone, and everyday language. You'll start to think like the people in the show, in English. Habit 6. Think in English. During the day, throughout your day, take small moments to think in English. If you're waiting in line, think, "How long will it take?" If you're cooking, think, "I need more salt." If you're walking, think, "The weather is nice today." These small thoughts build a powerful English thinking habit over time. These daily habits may look small, but together they create a strong English environment for your brain. Remember, your brain learns from what it sees, hears, and feels every day. So, the more English you surround yourself with, the faster you'll start thinking in English automatically. Make English not just something you study, but something you live. Now, before we finish, let's talk about some common mistakes that many learners make when they try to think in English. If you can avoid these mistakes, your progress will be much faster and smoother. Mistake 1. Trying to be perfect. Many learners want to speak or think perfectly, with perfect grammar, pronunciation, and vocabulary. But remember, no one is perfect, not even native speakers. Perfection slows your brain down. Focus on communication, not perfection. It's better to speak simply and clearly than to think too much and stay silent. Mistake 2. Translating word for word. This is a big one. If you keep translating every sentence from your native language into English, your brain can't think fast. Try to understand meaning directly in English. Use images, feelings, and context instead of translation. Mistake 3. Focusing only on grammar. Grammar is important, but it should not control your mind. When you think or speak, focus on expressing ideas, not on grammar rules. The more you speak and think in English, the more your grammar will naturally improve. Mistake 4. Giving up. Too early, some learners think, "It's too hard," or "My brain can't think in English." But that's not true. Every brain can adapt. It just takes time. Be patient, be consistent, and don't give up. Thinking in English is a journey, not a one-day goal. So, avoid these mistakes and keep your focus on daily practice and small progress. Remember, every little step brings your brain closer to natural English thinking. All right, my friends, we've reached the end of today's episode, and I want to leave you with one final message. Thinking in English is not something that happens overnight. It's a habit, a daily practice. But if you stay patient and practice a little bit every day, your brain will adapt. Remember, your brain is smart and powerful. If you feed it English through listening, reading, speaking, and thinking, it will start working in English automatically. So don't worry about mistakes. Don't be afraid of slow progress. Just keep going. Every small English thought you have is a step closer to fluency. You're already doing something amazing, training your brain to speak a new language. Keep believing in yourself and keep thinking in English. Thank you so much for listening to the English Learning Podcast. This is Henry, signing off, and I'll see you in the next episode.